How's it going, everybody? Wayne here. So if you've been watching my N64 Complete in Box Quest videos, you might have noticed that last video my background has changed a little bit. I used to have the entire loose NES library behind me, and now it's filled with Complete in Box N64 games. So where did the NES games go? I sold them all. One of the reasons I sold my NES games is because I can't get insurance on the games living out in Japan. And eventually I'm going to have to move to the States, and it would be too much to ship all those games. So a lot of those were just going to go uninsured in somebody else's hands, and I didn't want to lose them. Even if I were able to claim the insurance from moving, if something happened to them during the move, I wouldn't have gotten nearly what the games are worth. Another reason I wanted to sell them is because I kind of wanted to start over. The entire NES library was loose, and having these Complete in Box N64 games has kind of made me want to go back and get some of the NES games that I wanted Complete in Box. Finally, I believe there's a retro market bubble that's going to pop. I don't think it's just going to pop and all the games are going to lose all their value, but I think it's going to pop and slowly deflate, and the game prices are slowly going to drop over a long period of time. I'm one who never watched how much I really spent on these games. I've always paid full eBay prices for my games, so it was kind of bothersome knowing I paid that much for the games and that they may deflate to where they weren't worth that much anymore. I think nostalgia drives a lot of the price for NES games, and my generation that grew up with NES is getting older. So as my generation gets older, I think those prices are just going to start to slide down. Just look at Atari prices. With all that being said, it's not over for me in the NES. In fact, it's just the beginning. So welcome to the NES Complete in Box Quest. So right now I'm not really looking to go for a full NES Complete in Box set. Right now I'm just going after the games that I love for the system. And a few of these games I already owned from when I had a loose set, like Journey to Sileus. But I thought Journey to Sileus was a good game to start off with because it's my favorite NES game, right behind Super Mario Bros. 3. So let's check out the first game in the NES Complete in Box Quest, Journey to Sileus. Developed and published by Sunsoft, Journey to Sileus released for the NES in 1990. To start off, right when you turn on the game, the music gets you pumped. It's so good. The game starts out with an awesome cutscene. It tells you how Jay's father was working on a project and passed away, only to find out that he was actually killed, although the media said it was an accident. You must avenge Jay's father's death. Unfortunately, the beginning cutscene is the only cutscene in the entire game, so that's the only real story that you get. The gameplay is awesome. You'll control Jay through 5 different levels. At the end of each level, you unlock a new weapon and face a final boss. Your main weapon is a handgun. The special weapons include a shotgun, machine gun, homing missile, laser rifle, and grenade launcher. The special weapons are limited though. There's a meter at the top left corner that tells you how much of your special weapons are left. Once the gauge reaches 0, Jay automatically switches back to his handgun. Enemies occasionally drop power-ups which refill the gauge slightly. All the levels are equally fun, and each level has its own music track which is equally as awesome. The bosses are all fairly easy once you learn their patterns. The best way to take out the bosses is with special weapons you get before you face them. You'll notice many of the bosses and enemies look like they'd be from a Terminator game. That's because this game was originally based off the 1984 Terminator movie. During the development of the game, they lost the license for the movie, so they made it into its own game. It's interesting that this game was originally based off a movie, because usually games based off of movies are not that great. The graphics in this game are excellent. The levels are very detailed and full of color. The enemies are very detailed as well. The controls are good overall, but Jay can be a little sticky to handle, especially while jumping. It's a slight inconvenience when dealing with certain enemies because you need a quick reaction time and precise movements to avoid being hit. The controls are only a minor inconvenience. The game is fairly challenging when starting out for the first time. As mentioned, the enemies move quick and require quick reaction times. You also only start the game with 3 continues consisting of 3 lives each. That only gives you 9 tries to beat the game. There are only 5 stages in the game, but each one requires some trial and error. Once you beat the game and learn what to expect, you can breeze right through the game in roughly 30 minutes. If you need help beating the game, you can go to the title screen and hit B 33 times and then hit start. That takes you to a hidden options menu where you can do a sound test and hear all the epic music tracks of the game. And you can change the continues from 0 to 9, making it possible to have up to 27 lives. Even the secrets in the game are awesome. Journey to Silius is a grossly underrated game, and it deserves a lot more attention. A loose cart will only cost you about $20, and a complete in box copy will cost you around $50 to $100 in today's market. In my opinion, Journey to Silius is a must-own game for the NES. So you might be wondering if I have any regrets selling the NES collection. I really don't, to be honest with you. I'm excited to go back for these games mint and complete in box. And I'm not really going to keep track of the price because I'm paying a higher price for most of these games just because I want them in pristine condition, or at least very good condition with minimal wear. If I ever get lucky and find a complete in box stadium events, I'll definitely consider going for the entire library again, but chances of that happening are slim to none. Well, that's it for the first episode of the NES Complete in Box Quest. Let's get this game on the shelf. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'll be bringing you a lot more videos like this. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up for Journey to Silius. Until next time, I'm Wayne, and thanks for watching.